Hey, how's it going, all you lovely people at Chat Door Shutter coming back to you with a brand new episode of Craftoria. And today we are looking at this block right here, which is the Crystal Assembler, which is one of the things we needed intro infused crystals and all of that stuff, the intro crystals and all of that jazz for last episode. And that led to this machine here. So I've already got this placed down, and I've got this placed to where it is. I'm gonna actually need to power this thing, aren't I? Okay, power. Let's grab some stone real quick. Perfect. Okay. So that should be golden. So basically, I've got a pattern here for the extended pattern provider. One of the problems is we're going to need one more thing before we can do this, and that is the concurrent processor. So if we just look at the recipe here, this needs this right here, which is completely different than the other processors we already have, because you need a printed concurrent circuit. Yeah. So to get this, we're going to need the concurrent press, and to get that, we're going to need this recipe. So I'm just going to tag these here. This is an inscribe. Which one was this? The silicone press. Okay, so silicone press. I think I actually have them back here. So silicone press / back. Ender. Eyes of Ender here. How many was that? Just 3. And then intro. How many was that one again? Kind of just like spaced for a second. So that was 4. Okay. So this. Nope, not that. And that. Okay. So that will be a new one of these guys. Okay, so let me get the 2 pattern providers placed. I just moved over the silicone one. So remember, the top one's going to be the actual press. This one's going to be where you actually make it. So let me get that. And I'll be right back. All right, I've got our first 4 extended pattern providers. This stuff, of course, is the exact same as previous. I've just got to make sure I turn on auto export. And this machine also has auto export, so just turning that on will allow for you to push into the pattern provider. Very awesome, very good. So now we should be able to carry on with modern industrialization, and what I was doing is actually getting these placed because they have a lot more patterns, which is exactly what we need, because at the end of the day, you need a lot for modern industrialization, and this is not going to cut it. So we're actually going to take all of these out and replace them with the new pattern providers. And apparently I forgot to make one more. Okay. There we go. And that should be golden. So now I just need to refill the patterns, and we should be golden. So let me get that done. Let me get the stuff that I was working on previously done. And yeah, we will be back here in a little bit. We have the ability to now do electric. I've got a steam turbine, an LV steam turbine, and I've actually got another here. We're just going to set this guy next to it, next to this steel boiler, and that will then actually auto-take steam from the steam boiler and then start making EU, which is going to be fantastic. So I have a few pieces of machinery I want to get placed here, and I'm actually going to quickly just turn down like hostile mobs and stuff, because I'm really tired of hearing these guys. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to grab some dirt here real quick. And I have a floor downstairs now, so if I fall, I won't, like, die, which is also a good thing. So we're just going to take out all of these pipes. Okay. And we are going to then grab, I think, I don't know what kind of modern industrial cable. Do we have 10? Is that the cable? 10 cable. Let's grab like 32 of this. That should start processing up. So the max transfer is 256 EU per tick. Okay, that's not terrible. So we're going to just grab... I need to do this, don't I? Yes, okay. So, of course, with modern industrialization cables, since I haven't used these in the past, how to use these is whenever you place them down, and we'll just use a machine, for example, here. I actually have one. Let's just grab a mixer. So whenever I place this down, sometimes it will not connect to a face. And basically, what you want to do... Actually, I might just try and demonstrate this with, like, an item cable. It might be easier. So, for like an item cable, when I place this down, it will not automatically connect to this mixer. And the reason that is because you actually need to force the connection. Either you can do that by right-clicking with a wrench, or you can take a cable, an item pipe in this example, and just shift right-click on the side of the block, and that will auto-configure it. And if you don't have a wrench, of course, you can actually go into these and manually configure them, or, of course, you can smack it with a wrench to toggle its, you know, input, output, and input, and then output. So you can do the exact same thing with a power cable, but it looks like the power cable is going to kind of auto-connect, which is exactly what we want to see. So we have the compressor here, and we're just going to plop this out, and we're going to replace this with the electric version. So electric compressor, and we're going to go down with the cable here, and I don't know if it automatically connected or not. I might need to break out a couple more blocks here, just to be able to see what's happening. Okay. Yes, it did auto-connect. So let's go back up. And let's move on to the next machine. So we've got the bending machine, so we're just going to replace that with the electric bending machine. And just kind of go down the line. And I'll make sure these are all connected with wire, with the 10 cables here in a minute. Okay, so wire mill. And then the mixer. There's nothing else in this mixer, right? And we are wasting quite a bit of steam, but that's okay. I think one thing else we want to make sure of is we're actually configuring these as well. So we just have that little space because we have a chest here rather than the other one. So we're able to kind of sneak back, right-click on the center, or shift right-click on the center more precisely. And that allows for us to then go in here and just do auto-enable on everything. Okay. So the next portion is the steel cutting machine, which I do... electric? Right here. I just did not pull it out of the system. Okay. So there's that machine. Right-click on the center, shift right-click. And that should be golden. So the next one is the alloy smelter. So I have the alloy smelter. This might require something else. Okay, so yes, this requires magnetic copper nickel wire. So we actually don't have access to that just yet. We'll get into that in a second. The macerator. Did I make the macerator? Let's make a macerator real quick. And while that's crafting, we're going to set down the polarizer, which is our new machine that's going to allow for us to get the actual alloy smelter portion, the copper nickel wires and everything. Okay, so let's just make sure that we quickly set this to auto output there. And let's get the power cables ran here real quick. So I'm just going to pop these off. And I think I need to go at least one more out. We'll place these for now. I don't know if they'll connect, but we'll check. Okay, and that should be golden. So this thing is off to the races. It's already doing wire. Okay, perfect. So we want to teach this a couple of things. So that copper nickel wire that we need for the alloy smelter. What is that called? So magnetic. 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 So we need this recipe as well. So that. So this is the recipe here that we need. And of course, that'll bring us down the line to actually getting the copper nickel wire as well, because we don't have it. Do I have access to copper nickel? Looks like I do. It looks like it showed it. Yeah. I've already taught that recipe, so let's get that in place. And then the polarizer. And let's make sure we teach the rod recipe as well. Okay. And then I also need to make sure that I pull out the existing magnetic steel rod recipe, because this just uses redstone way too much. Way too much redstone when we got a polarizer. Okay. One of the problems with doing it this way, by the way, doing AE2 like this with modern industrialization, is over time, these guys get this bar filled up, which is... So if I were to grab, for example, copper, and we just throw a piece or two in here. That's the wrong thing. Let me go to the compressor, for example. So you'll see that this bar will build up efficiency. So it's an efficiency bar. And once that stopped, you saw that efficiency just drop. So if you smelt up or push down or compress 64 plates, that efficiency is going to go up significantly. And basically, whenever it throws, for example, 10 to make 10 plates, that efficiency has to drain out and then go back up. And then drain out and then go back up. So this is not the best option for doing all of these different types of plates, but it's what we've got to work with for now. Once we get further in, we will get, of course, everything separate, everything kind of its own independent system. So that will be something to look forward to. But for right now, we're working with what we got. Okay, do we got the macerator now as well? Okay, so we're gonna take this guy. And we're going to just place it. Change out the center again. And then auto output. And it looks like I will have to force a connection with that cable. Yeah, let's just take out the floor for a second. So, of course, the way we just do that is just doing this. Shift-click on the bottom face with the tin cable in our hand. Perfect. Okay. So now what we're looking at is just getting the alloy smelter. So once that's done, I'll be right back. All right, one more vital machine, which is the assembler. The assembler is kind of really useful. Not really kind of. It is useful for a lot of things. Some materials can be cut down out of this, which is pretty nifty. Some are equivalent to just crafting them outright, but overall, this is going to be useful for things like this, because crafting this is kind of just annoying. Actually, this looks more expensive, but you do get two. So yeah, see that? You get one with this recipe, and you're using 3 aluminum plates, and then this recipe, you're using 4 aluminum plates, and 2 analog circuit boards, 1 redstone battery, and 6 electrum. So you're kind of using a little bit less aluminum, and aluminum's kind of one of those things where you have to produce it rather than just getting it out of the ground. So that is something to keep in mind. So let's see if we can get this connected here, because it does not look like it actually connected. Yes, it did not. So let's get our wrench, and we're just going to... I don't know if I can right-click it from here. Oh, there we go. Actually, just disconnecting it, reconnecting it did it for us. Okay. All right, so red, red, purple, purple, or wine in this case, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, I guess I also need to cover this one back up. I did have to split the machines here because I actually have another cable running in between them, which is the actual quantum ring, because I moved it. So there's 8 total there. Then we're going to do another 8 total on this line if we wanted to. We'll probably change it up once we actually get, you know, a decent chunk into the way of this. Okay, so the assembler. That's awesome. Now, let's get this stuff. So we need a handful of things here. Quickly just grab... Oh, we get a free assembler. Nice. So we're going to look at getting the electric blast furnace. 17 heat proof, 16 copper nickel, and 1 electric blast furnace. So electric blast furnace. Do we have any mod that tells us the actual stuff? Yes, 16, 17. There's different tiers of this as well. We're just getting the base tier. Okay, I'm going to let that stuff craft, and I'm not going to let you guys just sit through this and wait for it to be done, because it's going to take a minute. especially with all the stuff that I just ordered out of our system. So, be right back. Alrighty, let's get this built here. It looks like we've just got a harvest moon popping up. Let me quickly just mute the harvest moon because I'm tired of the little cricket sound. Okay, so this is not a complicated structure at all. The one thing is that I don't know why they did this. Of course, just a little pet peeve. Again, I'm just going to point this out. They've got the electric blast furnace here, but the only way that this is electric is if you have the LV input hatch. But to me, this looks like a side quest and not part of the main quest. So if you were just to build this, you know, going with the quest rewards, because we did get a steel input and output hatch. So if we put the input here, output here, and then we just went and we did the rest of this, which actually the recipe is this. Not what I was about to do in the beginning. And then do this. This would work, but you would have no way of powering it. So what you need to do, of course, is get this LV input hatch and place it onto a corner or something, wherever you need to put it, wherever your power is. And then, of course, figure out a way to power it. So we're actually going to need to grab a couple more tin cables to reach our destination, basically. We also want to grab some bauxite dust, which we have plenty of bauxite dust, so I'm not too concerned. We're just going to run this over to the power here. Okay? So, auto pull, auto eject. Let's grab a couple barrels. So I'm just going to throw some bauxite in here, and I do believe this is how this works. Let's get the beautiful MI machine sounds turned down. Okay. So we've got bauxite smelting up. Of course, this is not the most efficient recipe because you only get nuggets. So this is awful, but we will get there in the future when we actually get more by doing... Which one is it? And now there's the aluminum dust recipe. How do you actually make aluminum dust? I forget. Hold on. Yes, the electrolyzer. That's how we do it. 10 bauxite equals 4 aluminum dust. And then 3 titanium, tiny dust, and then some oxygen. But this requires aluminum rods, so you kind of need to get into aluminum production before you can actually get full-out, better aluminum production. And I think there's even a better aluminum production, isn't there? After getting... I think it's like the implosion thing, isn't it? Thought there was another machine that actually made it easier. But I might be wrong. The centrifuge? I don't know. I think our best bet, of course, is getting the electrolyzer. So I'm just going to let this run. We've got plenty of bauxite to go through and just kind of let this process because we need quite a bit of aluminum before we get there. Maybe not this many stacks, but we need quite a few. So I'm just going to let this go, and I'll be right back. One last machine for the road here. We're going to put down the electrolyzer, which I just went and crafted. This has been a lot of just waiting for things to be crafting, by the way. We've got so many machines and so many parts of modern industrialization in the AE2 system right now. But that is A-okay. We are cruising still. I'm going to get this tin cable placed down. And, of course, once we get this, we're going to actually have to upgrade these guys once we have enough aluminum cables. To the higher tier, to MV, which is going to eliminate those LV steam turbines. So, quickly, we're going to look at this, though. Let's see. So, modern industrialization. So, we actually need to get the digital circuit or electronic circuit. Jiminy Christmas, this guy just scared me. Where's his, where's the actual guy at? Right here? Okay, nothing fancy. All right, it wants us to get one of these to actually complete this. I actually don't have enough aluminum for this. So what we can actually do, we can kind of get this a little bit better. Let's take our bauxite out of here and out of here. And let's just go throw it in this electrolyzer and show you guys what this is actually used for. Another lovely MI sound real quick. MI underscore. Perfect. Okay. So that will start getting us aluminum dust. Of course, this machine is going to be running the best once it actually has more efficiency. So I'm just going to let this run here. It's going to take a while. And yeah, I mean, there's not much I can do until this gets completed. But this is going to get you guaranteed more than one aluminum, which is fantastic. So that is what you're kind of doing this for. So let me just wait for this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so quickly just completed the electronic circuit quest. Or what is this? Yes, electronic circuit. And then got a reward of another one. The electrolyzer is now there as well. So we probably want to go through and get just basically as many of these as we can. This is where we're trying to get. Once we get here, we can actually start getting tons and tons of resources. And then, of course, we'll go down here and we'll get the bronze and copper drill as well, because those will be useful later down the line. But there's the advanced large steam boiler as well. So we've got quite a few things that we're going to be doing next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Stay awesome, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.